There was a meeting somewhere in Nyanza. I think it was a Luo cultural meeting where both President William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga, among others, attended. And when Raila talked, he said that he has convinced the president that we are going to have no further abduction. When it came to the turn of the president said that there will be no more abduction, but he said that parents should talk to their kids, parents should discipline their kids. I think that is what motivated me to record today this episode. I wanted to record this episode as a father figure. I wanted to assume that my viewer is in the age group of my biological children. I also wanted to assume that my viewer, that I am in the same age group with my viewers' biological parents, specifically biological father. That means me and the viewer are of two different generations. I wanted to assume that, and that is the assumption I made. Of course, we have people. There are a few who are older than. There are a few who are older than me, generation-wise, who will be watching. And do we have any people who? I don't think I have a biological grandchildren, yes, but I don't have people age-wise. I don't have grandchildren who can have the understanding, the maturity to participate in this discussion. From my personal experience, it is not just politicians who spoil kids. We also have a good number of my age mates who do spoil kids who are enough to be their children. I know politicians do spoil kids because, every campaigns and whatever, you may find that riots do happen, and it is the youths who do that riot. But you may have discovered that those youths who do those politicians who incite the youths to cause mayhem in public meetings, of whatever reasons. We have men in black. We have cases where you are holding a public meeting in an area where your political opponent thinks that with such a massive crowd, he or she will become unpopular. So they hire kids to go and disrupt that meeting. Very rare would you find the kids of such people would want to do that. Usually they use other people's kids to do whatever. Now that is politicians. And we have parents of my age who do try to spoil other people's children, your age mates. I think there are 3 or 4 types. Let me count and see. First of all, we have parents. You may have educated your kids well. You may have educated your kids such that your kids have been to college or universities. But somebody of your age, um, the brightest child is, let's say, a D plane. So he takes that opportunity to say, especially we Luhyas, you say, kabiye osi, yani iharibike kila pahali. Hata kama umesomesha, wacha ni gonganisha. There are even others who make sure that you are not in talking terms with your children. So there is the first aspect where parents have their kids who are failures in life, and so they come and spoil your kids for such occasion. We have two, and among our bukusu, this happens. If a man, not a man, a person, let's say he or she has no kids, or he or she has one kid who is spoiled, bangi ama nini, or even mentally disturbed, or the one who has just got daughters and whatever, you find that they use all systems to spoil your kids. So we have such people, especially among lawyers. Among Kikuyus, it is very rare, especially Kikuyus from Madira. So we have such people. So and again, I was saying that the president had said that parents should talk to their kids. You may find that many cases, even during our time, we were not so open with our parents. Uh, can you tell your parent that you are dating? Yes, a few, but very few. And you have to have a few exceptional cases. So you find that even when we were young, and the president is in my age group, people used to use grandparents. Grandparents. If you know somebody's grandmother or grandfather, you use that person to pass the information. So, and even when you look at why they were being abducted, you'll find that what they did, what they did, uh, the information we have up to this time, none of the parents is even aware that they have done what they have done to lead to abduction. In the Bible, we are told, before you condemn, make sure you have done nothing wrong, isn't it? So uh, we have cases, we have cases like Dedan Kimathi and so many people who would have kept quiet and led a good life, but they had to speak out, and they paid it with their lives. So I want to tell youths of today that whatever you are doing, could it be in the same bracket with Dedan Kimathi? Dedan Kimathi, not even one time. Okay, the technology was not that way, but I'm sure Dedan Kimathi would have told you to look for ways to counter the government than using AI to place somebody in the grave. So yes, whatever we are doing, in fact, what I've been doing, a lot of people meet me and tell me, are you not worried about your life or anything? Remember, we will all die. And I have recorded a video where I talked on death. Imagine I went to a funeral, you'll still watch it. I went to a funeral of a very close person, and we talked, I joked and anything, and then it reached a time and I said, and what was the cause of that? And the family was embarrassed because even the family did not expect that question. The question is, supposing your father, let me talk about your father, not your mother. Supposing your father was killed because he was a bank robber. Supposing you know he's dead, even if you leave him wherever he is, but when he goes, the family, would you? I've met the family of Dedan Kimathi, yes, several of them, including Al Amin Kimathi. They are very proud of the way he died, because he died for a good cause. I'm not trying to say that Ruto's government is the Vatican government. No. But what I'm saying is that criticizing from a respectable, first of all, the office needs respect. Two, go to points. Just tell him, for example, the problems of SHA, the problems of university funding and whatever. That one will make sense. Even if you'll be abducted. You see, it is like driving. Driving, you cannot stop the other driver from going out of his lane, but you can control yourself from going into his or her lane. Just keep your part. If if you are to tell Ruto that Adani deal is a bad deal, SHA is bad, and that is okay, and you also bring points. But you see, in life and in debate, it is very painful. I remember, if I've not forgotten, there's even a time when somebody, just once, somebody said that I was one of the people who tortured people in Nyati House. Okay, we settled that, and I proved. I said, how can I torture somebody when I was interdicted for being anti-Moi? We settled that, I have to emphasize. But then you find that if you have to die or if you have to do anything in future, uh, 20 to 30 years from today, look back and say, yeah, I was killed. Yeah, that is what I was saying that about the road. You cannot stop anybody from doubting you. You cannot stop an abductor, an intelligence officer abducting you and hiding you. You cannot stop that. You cannot stop somebody from killing you. You cannot do anything. But then, at the back of your mind, just ask yourself, if you are maimed or if you are killed, are you killed for a just motive? And I have to tell you something. I used to be told that in school. I used to be told that in school. Uh, when you are debating with somebody and that person introduces non-relevant points, then you should be happy that, I think this one I should address to the president. When I'm debating with you and then I start introducing issues that are not on the topic, then it shows that you are winning the debate. Because if you want to win a good debate, concentrate on issues, concentrate on issues at hand. Here is Ruto. He's not an angel. He has his failings. Uh, one of Ruto's greatest failings is that he promises something, and once he comes out of the microphone, he forgets. But then people don't forget. So he keeps on wondering. A good example is in the next 6 weeks, we will have completed the following 6 stadiums. That was 2012 when they wanted to take over with the Uhuru. Some of the stadiums that he mentioned, even up to today, 12 years later, have not even started. That is his problem. Why can't you concentrate on such things? Pinpointing things such as that. Wishing somebody to be dead is the worst thing. Of course, uh, the Nurdin team, which the president has said is going to stop them, is wrong, because they called the president Zakayo. He liked the name. They moved to Kasongo. He ignored that. Even these things, they would have done what? And I've already said that if anybody, because when you draw if you generate an AI of somebody dead, say me in the coffin, this is a different case. It is not a case like, and I want young people to understand from now. I know you are doing that so that when you are arrested and taken to court, you say that I generated the picture of the president in a coffin. So the president is a complainant. Has he complained? Or if he has complained, can he come to court? No, we have some offenses, and I'm talking to you as a former student of CID training school. We have some offenses which do not need the person's image to be there. I mean, to go and complain and give evidence. And one of the offenses is misuse of a communication gadget. A misuse of the communication gadget. And remember, this picture, it only needs somebody to arrest you, take you to court, and say that you have misused your intellectual property. That is your head. And if the magistrate or the judge is convinced, you're jailed. It's not a must that the person whose image you have drawn will have to complain and will have to appear in court. No, no. Misuse of communication gadgets, it's for Safaricom or whatever to discover who that person is and present to them, and you are jailed. So that is what is there. And again, what benefit will you as an individual, or more important, what benefit will you as a country, Kenya, gain from what you're doing? I've seen several of those pictures. It shows that these kids are gifted. What do you call? These kids are gifted artistically. Why don't you use that artistic whatever to get that? I remember some times back we had a secretary in our office who gave me an advice which I want to give you. I'll give you the advice first, and then I'll say how she came to tell me that. Uh, what is this thing that is called conscience? Conscience is doing things privately without informing, without necessarily showing everybody, but of which, if later it is known, it is something that will never embarrass you. Now, how did this girl come to tell me? We were in an office, and everybody knew everybody was dating so and so. We knew each and everybody. But this girl, whom I treated as my cousin, and she treated me as her cousin, one day I went and asked her. We all know ladies here who, or even officers here, who are married, and those who are dating and whatever, we know that. But we have no idea whom you date or whom you don't date. Uh, she then told me that I do my things in secret, but I'm so much conscious that should whatever I do in secret come out publicly, I'll not be embarrassed. That is why I say, yes, you don't consult your families. I've seen on TV the way the parents are reacting. Some are even saying, turudishie watoto tuongee na hao. The issue here is, you don't go and broadcast to your parents what you put on social media. But the question is, should that information reach your parents? Would they approve of it? Would they sincerely like it? Assuming, because even during our time, we never shared everything with our parents. There are lots of things we did not tell our parents. That is the African society is that we are shy. I remember I was an exception, but I never shared with my father. There is my senior father, the one whom my father followed, Andrew Kwalanda, Andrew Kwalanda JI-TENGE. There is nothing I hid over him. There is nothing. We used to talk. Of course, I was an intelligence officer, But I used to talk to him with an intention of him being a father figure. Would he approve what I was doing at whatever? But my own father, I was very careful. There are even occasions I would send my senior father, Andrew Kwalanda, Watenge. We would even arrange so that he discusses with my father, his immediate follower, so that when I go to talk to my father has an idea or whatever, something like that. So I'm saying that from time immemorial, it is a bit a challenge to talk to your parents directly. But the question is, like the lady who told me, that was around 1990, she told me that she does her things confidentially, but with the confidence that should those things be known, there is nothing to embarrass her. Do you think, just ask yourself after drawing that thing, before posting, ask yourself, should your father or your mother see such a thing? Would your parent approve it? Uh, I know most parents, and even during our time, people in 45 and above tend to follow the government, and the people from 25 to 45, they tend to oppose the government. If you are carrying out a public opinion and you ask anybody from 45 and to 65, in many cases you'll find that person talking pro-government. And between 25 and 45, you'll find that person never sees anything good in the government. But the question is, in your criticism, some people think immorality is just sijui koinange street. No, even such things, it is immoral. And I've said, why don't you use your intellect to do something good? Because I'm sure your parents would not approve. I've seen parents even saying, bring that kid to me, then I talk into that kid. But then there are things that happen which are lifelong for you. So the thing is, uh, I especially when you talk to me or you talk to us and say, nyinyi wazee ni mambo yenyu ya zamani, sisi wakati wetu ndio huu. In fact, you even say that the generation you have to talk to us as if on the same level. Now, if you want to reason with us on the same level, during my time, there were 4 universities in East Africa, and in Nairobi alone, it has more than 4 universities now. Now, if you have been to all that standard of reasoning and whatever, why don't you now, account for yourself in reasonably as somebody who is educated? There is always a sixth sense. I ask yourself, is this thing necessary? Is it whatever? Because I've seen some of you want to, yani, you just want to be arrested. You want to be killed. And as I've said, if you are killed the Kimathi way, if you are to be killed Kimathi way, the future generations will be proud of you. But you, drawing the picture of a president in a coffin, what point are you doing? And any president, you can criticize him. I was there during Kanu days, and sometimes you are making not Kibaki. Sometimes you're making Moi be happy and say, Kumbe, I was right. Because during my time, imagine, and I want you to listen very carefully. During my time, you could sleep and dream that Moi has been overthrown. You'd dream that Moi has been overthrown. You'll wake up at 5, even forget to wash your face, and come to our office, come to the special branch office. And then you will tell us that I had a dream that Moi has been overthrown. You will seek for forgiveness. You'll even say I'm sorry. Even in the dream, I dreamed that I was celebrating. Please forgive me. And you do that with one intention, that we do not have an idea that you dreamed that, because that is treasonable. If you look at the history of government, and you people reason the way you reason, people would think that the world was formed the day you are born. I've already said in past recordings that I do not approve the way Boniface Mwangi ordered people to be buried in a flag. Ruto may be worse than Idi Amin, Moi, and all dictators put together, but you see there is a difference between Ruto and Kenya. I want to tell you this thing, if you didn't know, that the flag, green, red, and black, white, uh, the shield, and the spears, the cock, and the lion, that flag was decided before Ruto was born. And that flag will stay even after Ruto has long died. In America, they still talk about Abraham Lincoln, isn't it? There is a time we'll talk about Ruto in that. 50 years ago, there used to be a president called Ruto, but the national flag will remain the same. So if you have issues with Ruto, don't bury anybody inside a flag. I know Boniface Mwangi is happy. And you see these things I tell you people. People are becoming rich. You remember there is a recording I said, and it was out of my sixth sense. I said that these two young boys, that is Kasamuel and Morara, they are taking you for a ride and they're going to make a lot of money. Right? And I even said that Kasamuel is not and will never be Tomboya. I've seen you have now nicknamed him Tomboya Mwitu. Tomboya Mwitu, because of that, isn't it? There is even some people who have moved out of Morara's political party because they say that he has not disclosed to them about the pay bill. He's keeping all the money and whatever, and they do not know whether he's even embezzling it. So those are the things which I'm saying, that we should be careful with what we are saying, what we are doing, because you people behave as if the world started today. I had been talking about Boniface Mwangi. Boniface Mwangi could talk a lot of things, would talk a lot of nonsense, but he's getting funds for his activism. Getting funds for his activism, and if he tells you, you die and be buried, and I think it's somebody from Haki Africa who was saying that a boy who was killed in Karatina, he will be given an honor in future. Okay, Karatina is home. Let me say that the boy who was killed in Karatina was a stray bullet, and being a stray bullet, it is only fair for the government to compensate the boy, because in a riot, in a situation where it is already proven beyond reasonable doubt, because that boy was coming out of school. If it was somebody, okay, even me, if I'm passing there and I'm hit by a bullet, they say, Mzee can't be in that. But if you're of that same age group and you are hit by a stray bullet, it's a bit hard to prove. But the Karatina boy was hit by a stray bullet when he was coming out of school, and he has really suffered for 5 months in the hospital. Then somebody says, this is a hero's building. Please, human rights people, we know you get money from abroad, and so don't use it to do that. We have an Akamba saying that stupidity is what they say that where one manatas. I mean, they say that if you use your bow and arrow and kill, you use a bow and arrow and you kill a hyena, they say that is a wastage. So you dying because of things that dying, we will die, I said, and I still repeat, but dying for cases that And you cannot stop somebody else from killing you. But if sincerely you die for a just cause, you will make your people be proud. My age mate, my slightly younger age mate, Gashagwa, have said that politicians do use youths to justify, to extend their political persuasion. It was unfortunate for Rigathi Gachagua to call my village mate, to call a press conference and say that these youths are, it was really unfair for him to say that these youths were practicing their intellectual capacity. Intellectual capacity, and you are, you are drawing somebody who is dead. I would have said, if I met those boys that I've seen your pictures, and I've seen many of them, I would tell them, why don't you go and start drawing people's portraits and whatever. And see, if you draw my portrait, I'll give you something, even if it is small. Yeah? So why don't you use that talent in a good way? I also don't like the way you address us. It is different from our time. During our time, there were some topics. There were some topics we could not talk about when people of a generation ahead of us were present. There are even occasions you could talk, and then when you turn, you find, hey, kumbe he was there or she was there, and you'd really, even if you're drunk, you'd really go and say, eh, now where? I'm sorry, I didn't know you were here. Oh, sorry. These are the things. But nowadays, you talk. In fact, some of you, I've deleted so many comments from people. You find somebody who is obviously younger than my last born abusing me in a Koinange style, Koinange street style. So I just wonder. During our time, we never answered people who are a generation older than us. Okay, our generation, we listen to you. We even give you time to. But you see, allowing you on the main table, on the high table, does not mean that you are equivalent to us. And I found this funny thing that I don't know where it came from. And I've seen even in my village, some elders, especially the elders whose children are failures, they say, you see, this is their time, let them talk. Now it becomes like saying that a constable should now dress down an OCS. And I don't know where this thing started, because you find you do that. And when I get annoyed, because I'm a former student of GSU training school, I say, no. You should not get annoyed. This is their time. During our time, we avoided annoying people. And people like Lando, my father, when you found that he was somebody you could not reason with him, that is when I would use my senior father, I would use my senior Baba Mkubwa to go and maybe talk to him. But nowadays, you find that it is, imagine you used to bow down to our parents. Now we are supposed to bow down to our children. But then, the Bible was not wrong, where they say that your parents are your second God. You're the second God. Actually, if this minute God, you are rude to him, whatever, whom you are rude to him, or whom you are seeing, and what about the God in heaven, whom you are not even seeing? So that is really bad. As I said before, you may face death or injury, but let it be for a worthy cause. Let it be in such a way that in future, just like the Kimathi family, I've met them, and I've said I've met Alamin. Uh, I've met them, and they really are proud. They are really proud. There was even a grandson, Kimathi, who wanted to be heard, and people were not listening to him. He went and mounted Kimathi's statue. What about you? Would you want in future to be remembered as somebody who drew the picture of the president when he's dead? I don't know whether you know, he has kids of your age. We have seen your fathers. I mean, we have seen your parents, your fathers and your mothers. They are shocked to see, kumbe, these are the things our children have. So bring the children to us. We talk to them. But that is why I found this occasion to talk to you, because a person who is not related to you but is on that age bracket of your parents, it's easier to talk to than the biological parent. You see, your own parents are embarrassed by those cartoons you have drawn. And two, look at the way your parents are. I'm saying, in this case, you are not completely innocent, or you are not completely right. Now, some of us have medical problems. Suppose you do that and your parent dies. Your siblings will say, this is the one who killed our parent. So if you are drawing something about the president and your parents do not approve it, do you think that is good? Another thing I want to say, Ruto has children of your age. Do you think, would you just imagine you, if somebody drew your parents' picture dead or something, or in the conditions that, would you approve? But if you are criticizing Ruto for calling people mapepo, if you are criticizing the president for universal healthcare, if you are criticizing the president, because I also don't approve the issue of the president saying that naysayers will not stop us from the project. That is wrong. That's what. Why don't you just confront him on what he's wrong? And the other thing, I think, which some people have said and have said it wrongly, including Ashagwa, saying that these are kids who are expressing freedom of speech. Any freedom in the world is not absolute. It has borders. By the way, let me give you an example of a freedom. We have a freedom of disco matanga. If you have a house somewhere where you don't have neighbors nearby, you can play your music as high as you want. But if you stay in houses like Kawangware houses, 10 by 10 Mabat, your neighbor will need to sleep. You cannot say, they have freedom, I pay for this. No, no, no. So your freedom has to bear in mind, so long as it does not punish the other person. That is freedom. It's just like you have, okay, you have a shamba with your planted things and so on and so forth. So freedom of whatever, I come there, take a bunch of bananas and go and cook. No. So your freedom can extend up to the southern pole and north pole, so long as it does not interfere with other person's freedom. Painful as it is, I would say this, that when you are debating with somebody, I've even seen things. In fact, my Luhya people wako na hiyo kitu. Kwenda huko babako si alikuwa nini nini. Not even babako, even me. Wakianza kusema sijui, in any case when you talk of something and you get out of topic, then it means that you have no point. Young people, young Kenyans, I beg you and urge you and I appeal to you. Attack the ideas. Don't attack the person. Oh, unavaa miwani, umetoboka macho, sijui nini. No, no, no. I'm saying that AFC is better than Gor Mahia. You are supposed to prove that Gor Mahia is better than AFC. And you'll say they have won more matches than 3 times what AFC has won. But if you start saying, oh, wale watu uliua ukiwa polisi ndio wanakusumbua, you see, you have gotten out of the point. And that was my point today. Thank you.